Today, the Kokoda Challenge contract is to be broken down to decide whether or not it is a valid and effective contract. Along the way, certain aspects will be described that make a contract valid, and examples will be shown from the Kokoda Challenge contract. A real case will also be presented in order to shine a light on why contracts are so important in sport. The Kokoda Challenge is a hiking challenge open to anyone aged 13 or over. Participants are faced with rough terrain and long distances of over 30 kilometers. This course must be completed within a certain time frame, putting extra pressure on the teams who enter. Due to the physically strenuous nature of this event, many hazards are likely to present itself, making contracts an absolute necessity. All sports contain a certain amount of risk to it. This often makes the sport fun and entertaining to watch. However, in turn, it also makes the activity more dangerous. When things go wrong in a sport, there is a need for a contract in order to figure out who is at fault and who will pay for the damages that occur during the sport. Oftentimes, this payment is made by insurance companies, and because of this, each contract must abide by the Competition and Consumer Act of 2010 in order to make the agreement as fair as possible to both parties. For a party to firstly know about the creation of a contract, the offerer must display some form of invitation to treat to the offeree. This is most often in the form of an advertisement of some kind, whether it be on television, on the radio, or on a poster. While these are the most common ways, invitations to treat can happen on a much more minor scale as well. It can be made verbally between 2 or more people and still serve the same purpose. For the Kokoda Challenge, the event was advertised most prominently over Facebook, but also through schools. After the invitation to treat has been established and the consumer appears interested in taking part in the contract, 3 key things must first be put into place to ensure the contract is viable. These are the offer, acceptance, and consideration. Without these, the agreement is not legitimate and cannot be used to legally bind a party. These terms will now be explained to you further in detail. Firstly, an offer occurs when one party proposes to legally bind a contract with one or more members of another party. Within this offer, 6 main principles can be found which make an offer an offer. Things such as communicating the offer to the person accepting the offer and having the ability to revoke an offer at any point of time prior to acceptance. In the Kokoda Challenge contract, the participant is offering themselves up to run into the marathon. The second element to any agreement is acceptance. This occurs when the party to whom the offer is made accepts the proposal being made to them by the offerer. Similarly to offering, certain principles apply to accepting an offer. A couple of these including accepting an offer entirely rather than just being part of the offer, and the person accepting the offer must be fully aware and capable to accept the offer. Acceptance within the Kokoda Challenge contract occurs when the organisers of the event accept your registration form, allowing you to participate in their event. The third and final element within a valid contract is consideration. This is where an act of some form is undertaken in order to benefit both parties. Principles are also found within consideration. A couple of these include having consideration within every simple contract no matter what it is for, as well as the consideration within the contract must not be illegal or unlawful. For example, for the Kokoda Challenge, fundraising is required prior to the event, which must be then submitted by a certain date along with an entry fee. This entry fee would include the cost of public liability insurance. Negligence is defined as the breach of a person's duty to another person to take reasonable care to ensure that damages does not come to that person. In the 2011 case of Pitt vs Tourism WA, Turia Pitt successfully sued for over $11 million in order to pay for body reconstructions after she was caught in a bushfire during a Race the Planet marathon in Western Australia. The fire is suspected to have been purposely lit, leaving Tourism WA as being seen to have been grossly negligent by breaching their duty of care to the marathon runners. They were to ensure that all tracks were clear of potentially harmful objects or people on the track. In this case, Turia Pitt took the action of suing for damages for this breach of contract. Essentially, the law plays a vital role in sport, particularly in relation to the laws of negligence. As a result of precedents on insurance claims relating to sport, insurance premiums have risen substantially in order to cover for any litigation. The price rise can be seen in the entry fee for the Kokoda Challenge. As a result of the case mentioned previously regarding Turia Pit, conditions within the contract of a marathon and hiking sports have included clear terms regarding weather conditions. For example, if the Kokoda Challenge continued the event when a storm was pending, and someone was severely hurt as a direct result of the storm, the organisation would not be held liable for this injury, as their contract states that the event will continue no matter what the weather conditions may be. However, if a participant was struck by lightning as a result of the storm, this would be considered grossly negligent, and the organisation may be considered to have breached their contract. The significant impact of law on sport can be seen in every sport today. This is a result of previous accidents that have occurred, which have resulted in the organisers of sporting events putting in more effort to keep the participants of the sport safe.